4 university students, 1 quiet college town. One night that shocked America. Investigators had almost no suspect. Then, weeks later, a breakthrough changed everything. But one question still remains. Why did it happen? Moscow, Idaho is more than just a place on a map. It's a feeling, a way of life deeply intertwined with the University of Idaho. The town's pulse is the university's heartbeat. Before fall 2022, that spirit was one of untroubled optimism and security. Moscow was considered one of the safest college towns in America. That reputation was a lived reality. Neighbors looked out for one another out of care, not fear. The greatest dangers seemed to be a tough final exam or a winter snowstorm. No one could have imagined that this tranquil ecosystem was about to become the setting for a national tragedy. The evening of Saturday, November 12, 2022, began like any other in the lively college town of Moscow. Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogan spent the early part of the evening at the Corner Club, a popular downtown bar. Miles away, Ethan Chapin and Zana Kernodle were at a campus party at the Sigma Chi fraternity house. These were ordinary moments, scattered across town, that would soon become part of one of America's most shocking investigations. Just before 1:30 a.m., Madison and Kaylee were seen on a live stream at a local food truck. This became one of the last known images of them alive. Public records confirm they arrived back at their King Road home at approximately 1:56 a.m. Inside, life continued. Phone records show Zana received a food delivery around 4 a.m. and was using social media just minutes later. No one knew. These ordinary moments would become part of one of America's most shocking investigations. On the morning of November 13th, a horrific discovery was made inside the modest rental home. A panicked 911 call reported an unconscious person, shattering the morning's silence. When police arrived, they were confronted with a complex and brutal crime scene spanning multiple floors. The small Moscow Police Department quickly realized the magnitude of the task and called for backup from state and federal agencies. Every clue mattered, but for weeks, investigators appeared to have very few leads. With no weapon found and no suspect publicly identified, a palpable tension gripped the town and the nation. The case became a fixture in national headlines, as an anxious public watched and waited for a breakthrough. Then, a breakthrough. Analysts reviewing hours of surveillance footage identified a key piece of evidence. A white Hyundai Elantra was seen circling the King Road neighborhood multiple times during the estimated time of the attacks. On December 7th, police made a public appeal, asking for help locating the vehicle and its occupants. Simultaneously, another breakthrough was happening in the lab. A trace amount of male DNA was found on a knife sheath left at the scene. A search in the National Criminal Database, CODIS, came back with no match. The killer was not in the system, but the car led them to a name: a PhD student in criminology at nearby Washington State University, Bryan Kohberger. After obtaining Kohberger's father's DNA from trash, which showed a near-certain paternal match to the DNA on the sheath, the stage was set. In the pre-dawn darkness, a tactical team descended on his parents' home in Pennsylvania, where he was staying for the holidays. Bryan Kohberger was arrested and taken into custody without incident. Extradited back to Idaho, Kohberger was formally charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. At his arraignment, through his attorney, he chose to stand silent, and the judge entered a plea of not guilty on his behalf. The arrest answered the question of who police believed was responsible, but the long and complex path to justice had only just begun. The most significant and haunting question remains: motive. The public record contains no clear explanation for why this horrific act occurred. Why these 4 bright futures? Why this house? These are the questions that continue to haunt the families and the public. The house on King Road, once filled with laughter, has been demolished, a physical scar removed to help the community heal. The case captivated America, touching on universal fears about the safety of young people and the randomness of violence. But in the face of tragedy, the vandal spirit was not broken. The community rallied in solidarity and grief, vowing to remember the 4 lives lost. Even today, this case continues to raise difficult questions about evidence, justice, and what happened that night.